This is the plaintiff, Jasmine Kayali. She says she and the defendant shared an apartment and split the expenses, and everything was fine at the beginning. But as time went by, she stopped paying, had her arrested for battery, and now owes her $2,362.79 for utilities and rent. So she's suing. This is the defendant, Jade Fusco. She says the plaintiff's girlfriend moved in with him and was supposed to start splitting things with him 3 ways. It wasn't fair she was paying for half of everything when the agreement was she would pay for a third when the other girl moved in. Once the plaintiff physically attacked her, that was it. Besides, if anyone is owed anything, it's her. She's accused of taking off on a roommate. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $3,255 for a third of the unpaid rent she's owed.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. These litigants were roommates, but it got so bad, the defendant had the plaintiff arrested for battery. Now, the defendant says the plaintiff physically attacked her. It's the case of battery not included.
Thank you, Douglas. Jasmine Kayali, you're suing your former roommate, Jade Fusco, for $2,362.79 in lease fees for breaking the lease, as well as rent and bills that she left you with. And you have a counterclaim against her for $3,255 because you feel that you were overcharged for rent. Tell me what's going on.
We signed the lease together in August, in the beginning of August.
How did you two know each other?
We met at work. I was going to get a place by myself at that point in time. I was going to go move into a 1-bedroom apartment, me and my girlfriend. And she came to me and asked me if we could live together so we could split.
All 3 of you?
Yes. She knew about my girlfriend.
Whose name is on the lease?
Me and Jade's.
Why isn't the girlfriend's name on the lease if she was moving in from the beginning?
It was the responsibility was going to be between me and Jade. That was the decision.
So was she moved in from the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay. So what went wrong and when?
She didn't pay rent on March 1st, which I paid the rent up front.
March or February?
March 1st, I paid rent.
So she didn't pay rent on March 1st.
Which was an understanding. I told her I would pay the money and then she would pay me back whenever she had the cash. We both worked together, so it was just convenient. It was fine.
Okay.
And around March 18th, her dog got really sick and went all over the carpets. And she didn't clean them up for a couple days, so I approached her and asked her if she could clean up the mess. And she said that I was attacking her, that my nose is in the air, that I think I'm better than her, basically. And
were you calling her a pig or whatever else? Or okay.
I approached her when no one was around. I made sure there was no one, not to embarrass her. And she got nasty with me, and I just left it at that. I ended up going to get a shampooer the next day to clean up the carpets myself because it wasn't getting taken care of. Then March 20th, around that time, I started moving my TV into my room. She didn't like it, so she...
Wait, there was a TV like in the common living room?
Yeah.
And you moved it to your room?
Yeah, I had a small TV in my room.
That was an act of aggression, though, right?
Well, I was switching them.
Okay.
It's a bigger TV.
Right.
And she made a snarky remark, oh, what, are you going to move out? Are you moving out? And I told her no, that I'm just moving the TV from the living room.
What caused the problems between you two if you liked each other enough to move in together and you worked together?
We fought a lot throughout the lease, throughout the 7 months. It was a lot of bickering. It wasn't just a one-day thing. I literally would just leave the problems behind, hide in my room, let her do her thing. I did my thing.
Did she fight with your girlfriend too?
Yeah.
According to you, the common theme is that you felt like the girlfriend was mooching and she should pay her share.
Absolutely.
Okay, talk to me.
It wasn't just that she was mooching. It was that they were constantly fighting. So it was constant fighting in the house. So I was aggravated because I would come home and they'd be killing each other.
Physically?
Literally, physically.
Physically hurting?
So I would have to physically pull them apart. And it was constant and constant.
Okay. When did you decide, though, because it sounds like you all moved in together with the understanding that you would pay half the rent. When did you decide that that was unfair?
Well, our understanding was that we would split the rent until Cheyenne found a job. And then that was when I said...
Is that true?
No, ma'am.
When was she ever going to pitch in? Never?
We split the utilities 3 ways. She was helping me with the utilities.
Why is it that once she has a job, she doesn't have to pay any rent?
She was gonna help me.
She was going to help you.
It was
so you two were going to split your half.
But
So
it was
you'd each pay a quarter and she'd pay 2 quarters.
Well, it was an agreement between us.
Can you prove that there was an understanding that you would get half the bedrooms in the house but pay a third of the rent?
We both have nothing in writing saying that.
Is that accurate?
Everything was verbal. We were
Everything
friends.
was verbal. Not a text, not an email, not anything in writing?
Nothing.
Oh, that's good. How's that going to work out for each of you? Where's your girlfriend? Why isn't she here?
She's actually working right now.
Nobody else who knows the story between you two?
My mother.
Her mother didn't live in the house with us.
No, I meant privy to the arrangement would be nice. You know, there's usually something. Well, here's something. Every month you paid the rent, and you paid your portion, which was the entire $697.50. That's half the rent, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you didn't pay March 1st rent, did you tell her, well, I'll get the money?
No, I said, if you could spot me, then I'll give you money right away.
Okay, and did you?
No, that
And
was
why
when we
didn't you?
Because we had gotten into a fit. She had attacked me. And we
Okay,
got
so
into a
that's the
physical fight.
reason you didn't pay March rent.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with you felt like the girlfriend was mooching.
No,
it had to
I
do
had-
with her physically attacking you. What did she do to you?
She pushed me against a wall and spit in my face.
On account of what? What had happened? I mean, not that there's any excuse for that. I'm just
No.
saying what had happened before
I
that.
was in my room and we were talking about rent, and she was moving the TV. And I said, "Are you moving out? Because what are you doing?" It was nothing but like tension in the house. So when I had asked her if she was moving out, she was, "No, I'm not. Yeah, I'm moving out. I'm moving my stuff out of the living room." She wasn't switching TVs. And I went in my room and we were talking about the rent. And she said something about, oh, well, she wants the rest of the money. And I said, okay, well, I'll give it to you. But the next month, we're going to split rent 3 ways this time. And she didn't agree with that. And I walked out of my room and she pushed me up
Why
against
didn't
the
she
mirror.
agree? What did she say?
That's all she said, is that no, we're not.
And then what happened?
And then she attacked me, pushed me against a wall, spit in my
How?
face.
How? No, don't
She
skip
just
it. Physically, how did it happen?
Physically ran up to me the second I walked out of my room and pushed me into our mirror in our hallway. And then I called the cops.
So can a roommate move a boyfriend or girlfriend in, let him stay all the time, when that wasn't necessarily part of the deal going in?
No, they have to ask the roommate first.
Do you have to ask the roommate first?
I'd say yes, because they're the second person living in the room.
Fair enough, but what if the roommate says no? What if the roommate says, no, you can't move, your boyfriend and girlfriend can't stay? Are they allowed to do that just to block you?
No.
So how can they stay all the time?
No.
How much can they stay? 3 days a week, 2 days a week?
Maybe.
Okay.
Pay rent. I would say that they would need to pay rent.
That never happens going inside the courtroom.
Did the cops come? Mm-hmm. Did you get arrested?
No.
When the cops came, what happened?
They wrote a report, and then that was it. Someone needed to leave the house, so I said, okay, I'm leaving. And I came back that night, and then everything in my room had been ransacked. Everything that was on the patio was in my bathroom. The whole house is a mess, and I called the cops again. Everything was flipped over. Like,
Do you have a
stuff
picture?
I don't have any pictures.
Okay.
Everything that was in my
Do you
closet.
take, yeah, because I find
police-
your generation takes pictures
I have
of
a police
food
report.
before they put their first fork in it.
You're
But no
right.
one takes a picture of something like this. That does not occur to
I
anybody.
actually did have one, but I don't have it anymore. I have a police
You
report
actually
of it.
what?
I have a police report of it.
Do you have a? You started saying something about a picture.
I had a picture, but I don't have it anymore. It
How
was on
come?
an old phone. I don't have it.
So she actually did take.
I
the
did, yeah.
Why did you take the picture?
Because when the cops came, they told me to take a picture and send it
Right.
to my email.
And what do you think it's for?
For evidence.
Right.
Yeah.
And who's looking at evidence right now?
I know.
Okay,
Well, I didn't
so-
think we'd be here.
You didn't think you'd be here.
I didn't think we'd be here.
Oh, you'd be here. You owe somebody rent money and bill money, you're going to be here. The police report's a little different than your testimony. The police report says that you didn't want to pay full rent in March. Not, oh, next month we're going to start splitting it, but that you didn't want to pay full rent in March. Jasmine stated that Jade got crazy and started egging her on, got up in her face and asked her if she wanted to fight. And that Jade threw a shoe. Did you throw a shoe at her?
Yeah, she tried to open the door after I closed my room, and I had a shoe in my hand, so I threw it at her.
So how did everybody get their stuff? Is that the day you two left each other and moved out?
The reason she called the cops is because I no longer could live with her. I was just ready to get out of there, and I started packing up all my stuff, and everything was in boxes, and it was actually her
Did you
table.
ransack her room?
No.
She's making that up?
I took the cable box, but I had to return the cable equipment in order to not have a fee, and
All
I
right.
wasn't using it.
So did you move out that night?
It was probably a couple days.
Okay,
I got
what
the
about you?
stuff
When
out.
did you move out?
April 1st. 30 days after, She said that she wanted to break the lease. I said, that's fine.
Okay, and it's not 30 days after. April 1st is 10 days after.
Oh, 10 days after.
Yeah.
That was when we decided that we're leaving, but she was staying there also. So when I came home, she was in her room already.
What did you two do for 10, or it's 11 days? What did you two do for
work a
11
lot.
days?
We work separate schedules. We don't see,
You just
we really
wouldn't
don't
talk to each other?
Nope.
You just walk by each other and not say anything?
I stayed with my mom, actually. She lives closer to the job, so I just...
All right, so when you break the lease, well, how does the landlord treat this? They charge you a hefty fee.
Yes.
Because you guys
We
didn't give a full 30 days
Exactly,
notice.
but they knew about the situation and how crazy it was.
So
that
did they make you pay 3 months or 2?
They only made me pay the 20.
Okay, so you paid the entire 2 months, and you are suing because you feel that she should pay one of the months because she's just as at fault in breaking the lease as you are.
Yes.
And you feel that you are not at fault in breaking the lease. Why?
I didn't want to leave. I wanted to stay and take over the rent, and I couldn't because when we had signed, we did our credits together. And I wanted to stay, and I wanted to finish to the end so that our credits weren't
But how are
ruined.
you guys going to stay in that
The same
those
way we were
circumstances?
doing
We're
it.
calling the police on each other twice in one day. How can anybody
The same way
stay?
we were doing it. It was fine until she put her hands on me. Then that's when...
Yeah, then it's not fine.
Yeah,
and
then it
you
wasn't
agree
fine.
that you put your hands on her,
I
right?
do. It
but
was
according
wrong.
to you, you pushed her. Why?
I was really upset.
So you pushed her because you were upset?
She was like, you want to fight? You want to fight? And
Absolutely
I
not.
got overheated and I did the wrong thing.
Okay. You ended up never paying the March rent, right?
No.
Okay. And then tell me about all these bills for cable, electric, and water. Now, while she's looking for the bills, you're counterclaiming against her $3,255 for 1/3 of the rent for 7 months.
For all the months that I paid half with Jasmine.
Yeah, but on what theory? You told me you agreed to do that until she got a job.
Until she got a job, but she wasn't even looking.
What's on the lease is that the two of you are splitting the rent. Only the two of you appear on it. So if you want to prove that you're not supposed to split rent, then you're the one with the burden of proving your defense that you should be paying less. And certainly you're the one with the burden of proving your counterclaim.
Absolutely.
So when you say neither one of us have any proof, it really hurts you on that issue more than it hurts her. Now, let's look at the bills. So $102 for February's cable bill. I can't believe I'm reduced to this. Who rented Horrible Bosses 2?
That was me.
Was it you?
That was me.
Who rented Transformers Age of Extinction?
That was me too.
Who rented Groundhog Day? Again? Who rented Groundhog Day?
That was me.
All right. You know, here's the problem with your version of things, Ms. Fusco. You're telling me I don't have to pay these things because she's the one who's breaching by leaving. But the problem that you have is that you were already in breach when you didn't pay rent on March 1st. And all she's asking you to pay are the bills that you would have paid, that you used, not bills from after that. It's bills that you would have used. Why is that so unreasonable?
It wasn't. And when she had asked me that day, hey, when she was moving the TV, she said, hey, can you give me rent? And I said, yeah, absolutely. Went in my room to go get my money to give her rent. And that's when all of that happened, when we started arguing. And then she attacked me. And then I was like, you know what? Okay, no, I'm leaving. I'm not giving you anything.
Well, you owe rent. I think that what she's asking for is a reasonable amount. And I'm also, for reasons I've discussed earlier, I'm not going to award you anything on your counterclaim because you cannot complain now. That's the agreement that you had entered into. I am going to order you to pay. I come up with a different amount for cable, so I'm going to order you to pay the amount I come up with, which is $2,341.79 to the plaintiff. That's my judgment. Good luck, folks.
Well, this case is resolved this way. The judge rules for the plaintiff. Step on in here. You have to pay what you owe, and so what's your reaction to that?
Just glad it's over.
Yeah, well, how bad was it living with her? How bad could it have been? You were there for a while.
Yeah, it wasn't bad until the end.
Mm-hmm. Was she a good roommate for a while?
Yeah, we were friends.
You liked her? Mm-hmm. And?
It just went sour.
All right. All right, so step on in here. What's your feeling on this outcome here? What's the matter with the two of you?
I'm just glad it's over, honestly.
Well, we're all glad it's over, but what are you pushing each other around for? How can it come to that?
Yeah, it was my mistake. I got a little angry.
Yeah. All right, so you're glad you're rid of her? Each other?
I'm sad that it ended this way. It could have ended out differently, but it is what it is.
All right, Harvey?
I got to tell you, the way to deal with this stuff is you got to sit down with the roommate and say, look, we got to break the tension. We got to live together. It's impossible for both of us. Just try to level. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.